Silicon Valley, technology, art, green, and sustainability. Welcome to another episode of Silicon Valley Tech, Art, Green, and Sustainability, www.svtags.org. And tonight I'm really excited to have a local artist, and also you do some other amazing things. And we met a little while ago at Montalvo, Paul Sable.
Yes,
yeah.
hello.
Welcome.
Hi, Heather.
Yeah, I'm so excited that you're here today, and your stuff is amazing.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
From the cabinet making to the Burningman stuff that you've done, it's pretty amazing work.
Thank you.
But before we start talking about the art, tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you from the Bay Area originally, or?
No, actually, I was born in New York, in Manhattan, and I was my first 26 years in New York, and then I finally got smart and moved to California.
Did you go to school there for art, or did you?
Yes, I did. My mother was an artist. My father was an architect.
Wow.
And my mother used to do life drawing classes in the house. And when I was a little kid, we were having life drawing classes in the home.
So you were in there drawing the nude figures?
Yeah, I had
home?
nude models when I was like 7, 8 years old. It was really great.
That's awesome.
And my father was an architect, and he, with my very creative family, we spent a lot of time in museums. And my mother sent me to the Art Students League. We did a lot of theater and concerts and Philharmonic and all this stuff. And so it was all big cultural history there.
It's a little different, the art culture here, museums.
Yeah.
On a cold day,
Yeah.
you go to the art museums. People on a cold day here, they still go outside a lot, right?
That's right,
So it's a little different.
Yeah, I still live in museums. We did museums all the time.
And you said in Manhattan?
Manhattan, yeah.
Manhattan.
I was
So you
born.
were there just downtown proper then?
Well, yeah, I lived on the Upper West Side, but everything's accessible in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you went to school for art then, or what was it?
Yeah, I went to Music and Art High School.
Okay.
In Manhattan.
Wow.
And then I went to Antioch College, and got my degree in art. I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in art, and from Antioch College, and I studied a year abroad. I spent a year in France. I've been traveled around the world,
And you have a cabinet making business too.
I do. Well, I do. I guess most artists have to have something else that they do, so that's what I do. I'm a master woodworker.
Well, yeah, and there was a heated debate when we met at Montalvo about that with one gal about
Right.
You can't sell your art. It's
Yeah.
it's got to be the
Right.
in your heart, and it's not about the selling of it. But you have to make a living too.
No, it's
so.
good to it's good to
Yeah.
sell it, but it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to depend on it. So it's good to have some kind of a real job.
So
Yeah.
you talked about getting a couple big commissions, and
Yes.
tell us about your artwork and how that started. So you did you move here for that, or did you teach, or how did you?
I've
transition?
always been an artist ever since I'm a little kid. So I for a very long time it was a very expensive hobby, and I've done mobiles, I've done hanging sculpture, mobiles for a lot of different things, and I've later on in the 80s. I started doing these light sculptures. So I've done many different forms. And these light sculptures were amazing innovation because this was 25 years ago. Nobody was doing light sculpture.
Can we get a close-up of one of these? I don't know which one. You want to get a close-up of the one behind him,
And if
maybe?
you could turn off the lights, it would make a big difference. Because what happens is that there's an actual sculpture, and then the sculpture is producing a light painting on the wall behind it. So it's a...
So the kind of, can we get a close-up of, there we go, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but with less light, can you...
and then you have some controls here.
Can
so
you get to the
change.
top of the sculpture where the image is being projected?
There you go.
And then turn off some light would be great, and then you guys can see. This is called Quetzalcoatl. So there's actually a presence, like an angelic presence, and wings of an angel there and stuff.
If you can go to the top a little bit
Can
more.
you go up a little higher with the camera?
Go up a little higher so you can get, yeah.
Is it possible to turn off the lights
there you go.
temporarily?
So yeah, and you can see the colors changing, and you actually have a remote control
Yeah.
that'll change the colors.
I do, and this
there you go.
Right, it's an LED light source with 4 different programs that'll do different speed changing.
Okay.
It can stop on any color you like. It can also be changing. I like the slow moving changes. They're about 10 seconds for each color.
Well, and interesting because behind you it looks kind of more purple, but on screen it looks more blue.
Right, right.
So if you can you change it with your remote right now, or is
I
it
have
just
to I think I have to stand up to do that.
Oh, that's okay.
But
Okay.
it's easier if you just
Well, I think we
just
get the
give
idea.
it a minute.
We can turn the lights back up and
See, if you give it a minute, you can see it's changing.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah.
So this was very, very innovative.
Okay.
And I actually made about 50 of these.
50.
And in the late 80s.
Okay.
And I've sold most of them. I have about 10 left.
And are they at your house, or do you display them?
They're in my studio, and well, I have some there's a gallery in San Jose called Collide Gallery on 4th.
Okay.
I have
And that's South 4th Street
South
for people
4th.
called Collide.
Collide Gallery, and I have some there, and I have some in a gallery in Santa Cruz called the Art of Santa Cruz.
Oh, cool.
Santa Cruz Artisans.
Okay.
And online, I have them on my website, which is artforhealthcare.org, and I have some in my. The actual sculptures are mostly in my studio.
So I'm going to pull up a slide right now too. So I think the first slide is another one of the and that gives kind of another look at the color range.
Right.
And we could pull that down. So you said you made 50 of them originally. Was that for commission, or was that?
No, these were just a labor of love. This was like a. These are like sort of like a really important part of my life. It was like a spiritual thing.
Okay.
I actually did a 3-month meditation group, and after that I had this inspiration to do these things, and it came from like a real spiritual place.
So the process of making them was a spiritual thing.
The process, yeah, and this is kind of like unplanned. I like when I make them, I don't like plan ahead, and I just sort of let my intuition, And then what happens is that the tips are like they're sharpened. They're like sharpened.
Okay.
And it's all very intuitive, and they're not like following any specific pattern. And then when I first put a light inside and I saw these images they were creating, it was a really exciting thing, because they're really like there's like an angelic presence that each one is presenting.
It's really pretty.
They're amazing.
We're going to pull up another slide right now, which
Okay.
is this is something else you do.
This is a mobile. This is a mobile that I was commissioned. There's a great story behind this one.
Well, tell us the story on this.
This is called The World Within.
Okay.
And it's in the Waltham Children's Hospital in Boston,
Okay.
Waltham, Massachusetts. And I got a call from an agent in Boston, my agent Pam Wilkins, who's my favorite agent, and she said, "We need a mobile. The hospital's opening in 6 weeks. In 6 weeks, we need a mobile. Can you do it?" I said, "Okay, sure."
6 weeks. Wow.
Sure.
We can pull that down.
We can do it. So I said, "Okay, we'll do it." And then this is also interesting about sustainability, because I usually work in plexiglass.
Okay.
These are all plexiglass, and most of my mobiles up to that point were made out of plexiglass. But they said, "Oh, we can't use plexiglass because you can't get a fire rating. It's good. When it burns, it gives off chlorine gas. So this is not a good thing.
Chemical.
Not a good thing for hospitals. They don't
Right,
like
a children's hospital at that.
So we found this amazing material called Varia,
Okay.
which is an ecological plastic,
Okay.
and it has a Class B fire rating. Can be used in hospitals and schools and stuff.
So is it compost of glass then?
It's the sheets in that material. They come in colored sheets, just
Okay.
like plexiglass.
Okay, but it's glass. Or
But
other
it's
compounds.
it's a synthetic product, but it's made from all organic materials. So it's not oil based.
Okay.
It's non-toxic. When you cut it and work it, it's non-toxic, and it's safe to put in a hospital, which is really great. It's really great for me, because then I learned about this material, Varia.
Which is
It's
great.
made in the United States in a company called 3Form. And so that was my first introduction to it.
And so you had 6 weeks to produce
I had
that.
6 weeks to produce it. So then
And get it there and install it.
So then we ordered the material, and they said, "Oh, we don't keep the material in stock. We have to make it. We have to
Wow.
make it because it's so
Wow.
expensive. It costs
Yeah.
$1,000 a sheet. $1,000 for a 4x8
And
foot
how
sheet.
many, like, we're not supposed to talk about price, but how many sheets did it take to
It
make?
took about 10 sheets. So,
Wow.
and then
And then how did you ship it? Did you have to take it there
well,
yourself?
I
or
cut it
crate
and fabricated it, and then I put it in a crate.
Okay, and then shipped it.
And then I went with it. They paid me extra to go and install it, so I
Right.
supervised
Of
the
course, they want the artist to be there installing
Yeah,
it.
I
They
like
have
going-
an opening for you or whatever.
So very often they don't let me go on the lifts or anything,
Ah.
but they give me a crew and we put it
Okay.
together. It's really fun. That's
So-
one of the greatest parts of my business.
So your process then with your art, it varies then from project to project.
Yes, I design-
Sometimes it's very specific and
Right.
linear and architectural where you
Right.
have a space, but then other times it's not so much.
Very often I design it for the space. It's designed for the size and the shape of the space. And There's a waterfall piece that I did for the Boston Children's Hospital. That was they wanted a water type piece, so I had some parameters of what they wanted. So I made a piece that looked like water.
So your inspiration for your projects, where does that come from? I mean, we talked about this, but the other inspirations on other things.